Is good. I'm sitting in a hotel lobby, trying not to get kicked out for not having a room, but it's a great spot to work.
Good. Like, what's the best hotel to work in London these days?
Ooh, I don't want to out myself where I am right now, but I will anyway. The Londoner, Leicester Square, is superb.
Central
Superb
location.
spot to be.
You know what I like? I really, really like the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden. Not a hotel, and they've got one just behind it, but the Wi-Fi is terrible.
I had said the other great spot is there's two, the coffee counter and lounge. There's one in Bank, and that's superb, like proper desks and tables set up. That's a great place to
Jonny just
hustle from.
he gets caffeined up and gets locked in. What are we working on these days, Jonny?
God, big question.
Sorry, let me rephrase it. What are we not working on these days? Because it feels like you're solving the world's problems and building something incredible.
We're trying. I think there's so many problems that are going to come with AI, right? Like I'm a huge fan, power user, and I think everybody's in that mindset of like this is going to change the world, but nobody's really telling the people it will affect in a negative manner. Nobody's really telling the bus driver that realistically in 5 years' time he's not going to have a job driving a bus because they can't tell him until the last day when they need him. And I think we're looking at that and thinking, okay, how can we help that person from an education standpoint? How can we educate them on what's coming? And also then, like, how do we see the world post that point when I think everyone can agree that redundancies are going to go up from big corporates. It's going to be a trend that continues, and it's like, what do those people do next? And how can we build things across a variety of sectors that help those people find purpose in their lives? Because I think there's this like idea of utopia where no one needs to work and nobody needs a job. I think that's a terrible place to be in.
Don't get me wrong.
If you don't have something to get up and do.
Trek. It's great.
Yeah.
But the reality is like we are nowhere near that right now.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like this idea of UBI and is floated around, right? If AI takes everybody's jobs, we'll have UBI and we'll just play golf. But I think everybody needs a purpose and like a reason to get up and get out every day. We went through COVID and realized that actually this is kind of boring if you're just sat at home doing nothing all day. And I think, or we think, entrepreneurship, in whatever way you take that word, will be the answer for a lot of those people. And we think there'll be an explosion of 1 person, 2 person, 3 person businesses, almost through necessity of there not being the entry level job anymore.
Does it feel that,
and that will just keep going higher up the ladder?
Entrepreneurship is actually easier today than ever before, and is almost the path a person should take in addition to everything else they do. It's like, it's not just something that you quit your job and do. It's like, go do that as a hobby these days. Like, go do it as a side project, because the learnings today with the application of the technology are going to just leapfrog you in front of, people that aren't using it.
I think there's 2 sides to that question. I think first of all, entrepreneurship is probably the wrong word. I think entrepreneurship people see as, I've got to build the next Uber, I've got to have a tech startup, and I've got to work 996, and that's it. I think entrepreneurship includes creators, it includes people that do freelance services, it includes the person that wants to open a coffee shop or a painting business. So it's how can we support them, put a business model behind their hobby? So I think that's one side of it. I think that's a really worthwhile exercise for everyone to do. It's like, okay, I love doing this thing. Can I turn it into my way to make money? Is there a structure which makes sense? I can just do this thing I love doing and get paid to do it. And then the other side of it is, you're absolutely right. There's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur or a startup founder or someone that wants to make money from their hobby. Because you spin up a lovable website, you connect your Stripe, and away you go, and you've got social media, which is free, and the best marketing tool on the planet. I think it's just then time and education on how to do the thing that's the only piece of the pie missing.
What's the hard bit about the education piece? Is it getting the person to do the thing, or is it teaching them how to do the thing?
I think it's getting the person to do the thing, because like if you look at it, if you want to start a business now, you put into ChatGPT, I want to start a business. I want to start this business. Give me a step-by-step guide on how to do it. Everybody can do that. I think you need that accountability and the push to get started. And that's why, for context, I'm my co-founder Simon Squibb, and that's why a lot of his content is trying to get people to just think about the idea of entrepreneurship and think about, okay, what is your dream and why haven't you gone for it? Like, you have all the tools, you have all the knowledge is available to you. What's holding you back? And let's break those things down, and go after it.
Can we take a moment and like actually just the hook of what's your dream? I don't know about you, but every single time I hear it now, I just think of Martin Luther King. It's like, I have a dream. And it's sort of like reversed on me. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if this was thought up, but this is what I think every time I hear it now when it's in the feed. Was that how it came to being? Or was it just, what's your dream?
I don't think so. The question he asked started as, would you ever start a business of your own?
Too mouthful. Right?
It's a big mouthful. And I think it's actually the wrong question, because it's like, if you call it a business, it removes some people from it.
Agreed.
So like, if I want to fish for a living, that would never be in my head be a business. But if you think of it as a dream, as I want to fish for a living, it's like, okay, then how do I get to do that? I have to find a way to monetize that behavior. So it's, okay, I'll become a fishing YouTuber, I'll become a fishing live streamer, I'll make tackle and sell that through my stand store on my Instagram. So it's like the dream, it takes you one step beyond and lets you think of it broader, I think.
Goes a step further than the North Star. It's at a higher level. It's like, what is the actual output that I want? And then I guess the content and everything that you're doing in between is to gear up for how do we build the mechanics to allow you to do that?
Yeah, I think so. And I think everybody has a dream, right? And if you say, oh, I don't really have a dream, I don't believe you.
90-year-old, everyone's got something.
Everyone's got something, but not everybody thinks of it as like, oh, I can make a business out of this. So I think the question is so much more broad and gets people thinking, like, what is it I actually want? And I think that's another trap that entrepreneurs fall into a little bit. It's like, they get into businesses, they're not actually achieving what they want out of life. It's like, if you want this thing out of life, then that's what you should be working towards. It's similar to like Naval and what he speaks about. And he broke down the trope of, oh, I can't be happy, I'm too smart. And it's like, if you're smart, figure out how to be happy. Like, come on, like, there's no barrier here. So it's like, if you want, what is your dream? And then go for that. Don't think about anything else in the meantime. And you can build a business that takes you to that. If your dream is to live on a desert island and relax, like, find a way to make that into a business and turn that into your life, rather than working for 40 years and retiring. I think it's just skipping to the thing you want.
What's the thoughts on 996 right now?
It's interesting. I think,
I want to hear your perspective. I'll give you mine.
I like it, but not in the way it's being presented. I think if you come to a company, it's like, oh, by the way, you have to work 996. That's the way we work. I think that's probably wrong. You want people to want to work that hard. Like, the problem has to be so big. The opportunity has to be so big. The purpose has to be so big. That's just natural. And that's like, exactly. It's the similar thing to the work-life balance angle. It's just life. Like, if you love what you're doing and there's purpose behind what you're doing, then you don't need the balance. You just work as long as you want to, and then you stop, and then you go again. I think that's the way I look at 996. Just work as long as you want to. If that is 996, if it's longer, if it's shorter.
996 just has a nice ring to it. It's the same in my head as founder mode, which is the same as like what we call, like, what, you know, the millennials will call like hustle culture. It is passion, straight up. It's like, how much time do I want to invest in this thing? How much do I really want it? And how passionate am I about doing every single little bit of it? We had Max from 11 Labs on the show previously talking about Matty and how he still takes customer calls. Like, he's still in the Slack. He's not just thinking, 30,000 feet above ground about like, what's the landscape of AI? He's doing both. And I think it's like, that's what it's always been. It's just the vehicle we've packaged it in is very much like, okay, let's time bound this thing so people understand. And it's like, you work in between, because like, we're just, Europe's always been very good at that. It's like, we just do the thing within the time band. We don't go any further. Let's go further.
I think that it's the construct of 9 to 5 and the construct of 996 are both kind of broken. It's just like, you need to, if you're doing 996, you have to want to be there that long.
Agreed.
If you're like forcing 996 upon yourself, and the last couple of hours really aren't productive, you just sort of sat there with mush brain, that's useless. Like, you have to be wanting to be there the whole time, and that time should just fly by, because the problem and the opportunity you're working on is so exciting to you personally that it seems obvious to work for that long.
His thoughts. I want to know your thoughts on the current kind of in vogue trend of two things. One, very much coming back to IRL, communities, supper clubs, dinners. And on the flip side of that, the buzziness around attention content today. And so, like, you have startups doing launch videos that rack up hundreds of millions of views.
I am a huge fan of that sort of thing. I think the way I put it is distribution and attention is the new moat. And the way you interact with your customers and build a community of advocates and customers is the new moat. Because I think technology, and especially in the software world, is the way I look at it, is like, it is going to get faster and easier. So how do you differentiate yourself from everybody else? If it's faster and easier, there'll be more people building similar things. So how do you stand out? I think it has to be media and attention and the way you look after your customers. Because otherwise you just sort of merge into a sea of similar tools. And you see it now with a lot of the AI startups. It's launch and then make as much noise and give as many announcements as humanly possible constantly. Because you have to be as loud as possible and create as much attention and media as possible off the back of it.
The way that we consume content, like the idea of the clip, is like it's a completely new way to how we like get through information. And so you can hit something in the timeline that is a clip of something, it just, fleeting 30 seconds that builds share of mind, world builds at the same time, and then you'll go and find, the longer form piece of content somewhere else.
Yeah, I think so. I think and I've been saying this for a while now, and I think it's starting to come true, is eventually you won't, as a non-technical founder, you won't look for a technical co-founder. You'll look for a creator co-founder or someone with an audience with the need for the thing you're building.
And you see this today with like, if you look at Synthesia, you look at 11 Labs, you look at Veed, they all consistently have used creators within within the process of marketing their relevant products, right? And that's not, I think that's step one, though, but internally as well.
I think that's step one.
What's step two?
Like, I think step one is paying creators to do your marketing, and like that's a trend that's across all industries, not just startups. It's like Unilever 10x their influencer spend to 50% of total ad spend, and that will just keep going and keep going. But I think it's having the creators at ground level as either co-founders or pre-seed seed investors. It's an incredible opportunity because you both have access to audience you want to get to, and access to the customers that want your thing, and then also the feedback mechanism. It's like creators can build such interesting companies because they can whack up an Instagram story going, which you like best, and like you get immediate customer feedback from the audience you're trying to reach because they feel like they're part of building that company. And I think that can be such an accelerant early stage. And of course, the product still has to be incredible, but it's such an unlock for growth.
Do you think that it's going to be consistently consumer facing and not B2B?
It's interesting. I don't think B2B exists anymore.
Tell me more.
I think all B2B companies are now selling, and of course you have the enterprise element, like your Oracle, so that's probably breaks my point. But everyone that's doing B2B is also doing B2 business consumer with self-serve. And that's just typical B2C marketing, or D2C marketing. I think it's very, very similar. So we'll see a lot of B2B marketing start to shadow and feel like consumerized marketing. And creators are best placed for that because ultimately it's a human buying something from another human. And I think that's probably the best way to look at that type of sales marketing.
How do we like the idea of community that we mentioned? I want to take these online interactions and I'm going to apply them offline. Obviously, Simon's sort of the exception to the rule here, where he sort of gets just mobbed when he gets out in public now. He's like our version of Speed, right? What's the thoughts on how you take those and put them in offline environments?
I think there will be such a need and a want for it because as everything goes online, you work from home and you talk to ChatGPT all day and it teaches you how to build a business. you get that human interaction, but people will be craving person to person. So I think the event space is really, really interesting as an opportunity. If you do that well,
And like
especially
this, are we talking about
business.
not just like the live version of what you already do? We're talking about like curated versions of, or world building in the context of events.
I think people want to be put together. So I think
Right.
matchmaking is a really interesting part of it. So like if you have, like for instance, on HelpBank, our tech platforms all around online communities. But when we bring those events together, it's incredible because everybody is interacting and building similar things. So if you create a community of people that are doing similar things, especially in businesses, over here there's actually people building a physical store and they can all chat and they can learn from each other. Then you've got online business over here, and it's like bringing those communities together is so important, especially early stage, when you are so head down. I think it's such an opportunity. I think if you can curate both online and in-person communities that are niche, then you're onto a winner. I think you can have that overarching community, but the further you niche down into similar things, the more they can help each other, therefore the more value people get from it.
You think people are going to pay for those though, or should they be free?
I think they should be free. There's other ways to monetize those things. I think they should be free. We always like the model of
master of monetization. It's like just the strap line.
Yeah. I like the way of always making it free and then monetizing it through affiliate or sponsorship. Because the more niche the community you make, the more valuable it is to a certain customer.
I want to touch on that for a moment. When did that click for you? Was there a specific moment when you were doing partnership work that, or manager work, where you were like, oh, this is it. Like, this has always been the game. Let's just turn this up to 100.
I credit Simon a lot for the thinking on this. He's just always had the rule: we will not charge for help. We will not charge for helping people because there's so many people that do. Like the info industry, and there's some courses that have a huge amount of value in their info, and that's a great thing to sell. But I think, especially in business education, and with our mission of fixing the education system, it makes no sense to be charged at the point of use. And if you make it free, you go so far against the curve of what everybody else is doing. And it's like one of the reasons Alex Hormozy was so successful in the beginning when he started making content, because his tagline was, "I've sold the business for 50 million, and I don't have anything to sell you." And like that was so refreshing because everybody else was selling you something. So by going against the grain, you attract that real causal following and community, and then you can provide value to the monetization element of it on the back end. I really like that way of looking at it. I think charging at the point of sale is probably a mistake for a lot of people.
And so actually give it away for free, make the money on the sponsorships, and also like use that as a vehicle for like firing up the flywheel of content, because then you can do more, run the team super lean, and then actively just like talk to your community, actively talk to your customer, actively talk to your audience.
Well, that's the most important thing. It's the same with community. It's the same with products. If you don't know what people want, you don't know what to build, and you don't know what products to have sponsored because you don't know what they need. And if you're doing that audience research constantly, the value of your sponsorships goes up way higher because you can take that to brands and you can go, we've asked everybody and they need a thing that you provide. So the conversion rates and the adoption rates are so much higher. And then you can help them be successful with it. And that's the really other element I think is fascinating from a creator sponsorship or a partnerships point of view. It's if you can help get people in the door and then you can educate people on how to build a business using this tool, the churn will fall through the floor because you're providing them all the info they need to get the most out of it. Now, I was talking to a software company the other day that it's like what you have to do is you have to get people in the door, and then you've got to help them make enough money on a monthly basis to cover the cost of what you're selling. At a bare minimum. And then you help them go further than that. But most people get them in the door and then go, here's the product, good luck. But the education and community piece just isn't there. Well, there's no value unless you know what you're doing. It's like with the vibe coders. You can go on there, and if you've never watched a video on YouTube on how to vibe code, it's hard. It's still difficult. You still run into things. But if you know a little bit, you can get so much further and get so much value out of it. But also then you need to be taught how to market and sell.
Or do
Because
you?
otherwise you're just making a thing that never gets shipped.
Or are we going to see just versions of, vibe marketing, vibe sales? Are we just going to see versions of that from now on?
I think we'll definitely have vibe sales. I think email marketing will be done on a vibe basis, which is pretty awesome. I don't particularly believe in the world of AI influencers and AI social media. I think people want human connection. That's the entire point. So I think that element of marketing is still,
for you, is just like, no.
I think it presents an opportunity for people to be real, because if the majority of content is fake, then the real stuff stands out. And it feels a bit strange if we get to a point where AI content is indistinguishable from real content, you're just tricking people. And like, that's not the best way to build a company, is tricking people to become customers.
Do you know how I'm looking at Sora 2, right? Like, especially the app. I haven't played with it yet, but I've seen a lot of the content. I look at it as from like straight up personalization, because if I can go from thought to meme faster than any time in history, the data points around like my feelings, how I consume the world inside of that feed and how I interact with it with friends changes completely. And like, I really like it from that point of view, because now everything I touch on the web or with inside OpenAI's ecosystem, whether that's the hardware or the software, can like have elements of what I've made in my social.
Yeah, I think this is a really shitty way of thinking about it, but I almost look at it as the new GIF. It's like you're in a group chat with your friends and you want to send a GIF. You don't anymore. You just go on Sora and you create a video of you in the GIF. And it's my brain is now immediately going to, okay, how can you create crazy personalized sales emails? With embedded videos? Like there's so many opportunities that are unlocked, but I don't know if marketing. But when we get beyond the point of this is very exciting and crazy, is it then interesting from a marketing point of view? Like for now, it's really interesting for marketing because you can get Martin Luther King to promote your product on Sora 2. Like that's bonkers.
But that will last for a week and we'll get over that hype quite quickly. Like I'm over the Sam running around in a toilet bowl, etc., etc.
Exactly. And it caps out at true to life, right? So at that point where it's true to life, how can AI video go further? I guess it can get longer. But then what is the frontier? The frontier is going back to people and real connection. And I think that's where marketing is done well.
We've always been in the people business more than ever before, right? And like today it feels as if like you consistently have to get out there, talk to your relevant customers faster than ever before. And it feels like you guys are doing that over at HelpBank.
I think so. I think you have to the amount of volume you have to do on social is pretty insane. And I think people and startups especially are dipping their toe into the world of social and really going for it. But to build like a incredibly loyal community and audience, the amount of volume of interaction you have to have is pretty relentless. And people need to build very, very good teams early on, I think, on the media side of their brand.
Jonny, before we let you go, I know you got a hard stop. One of the things we love to ask guests on the show is like, who is on your Mount Rushmore of founders ever in history? For you, who are they?
That's a great question. So my whole brain at the moment is in very much VC and investing. And I really like, but of course, Naval, like he's a bit of a hero of mine. It's like, I think his book's one of the best things ever written. And then I look a lot to Harry Stebbings. I think his view on the world and style, I admire. He's just unapologetically himself. Like it's the short shorts and the LinkedIn fighting with people I really like. From a point of view, is he's just himself and authentically that. And that's pretty cool.
Go on, two more.
That's probably a bad answer. Oh, two more. I think Anton over at Lovable is incredible. I've been lucky enough to spend some time with him recently. He's an incredible founder and thinks about things in a very special way. Again, similar because he's very mission driven. And I think we're all on similar missions to help people be free and help people to enable entrepreneurship, and not let ideas get stuck. These people can now turn them into reality, and we're very aligned on that. Other two founders.
One more.
I know it's controversial, but I do think Elon is ridiculous. You've got to throw him in there.
Oh, geez, it's just insane, the work ethic. I've been listening to the Founders podcast a lot recently. Well, not recently, but more so than ever before. Dude, it's built different. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's just moving mountains. It is moving mountains with absurd pace, and he makes everybody look useless, which I really like.
Jonny, this is always a pleasure having you on the show. It's always a pleasure talking to you. We'll see you soon.
Likewise. Thanks
so much.
I'll see you later.
That was Jonny on the show with us, talking all things like I think it's the mind of Jonny that I love. I love chatting to you. Just the way his view on the world. He's deep in so many different spaces. And he talks about helping people. And that's one of the things that, one of our sponsors in Dojo AI does deeply well when it comes to marketing. So thank you for making this possible. Our next guest is already in the showroom. It's a very special one, in my opinion, because I actually love the product. Haven't used it, but the aesthetic that they put up online makes me feel amazing. Daniel Thames in the showroom. We've got him talking all things pure sport. Daniel, how are we? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, no, actually, you're not coming.